I believe if we really apply ourselves and we take what we're learning today and we commit to working together, today, March 9th, 2023, can be one of those days. It'll be one of those days that down the road, months from now, years from now, we may be able to look back and say, hey, this great work that we're doing, this improvement we're seeing with our students, this greater alignment of our system and the state's commitment to supporting our education system started a little bit on that day, March 9th, 2023.
What would it mean if we had all groups of students going to college at the same time? What would it mean for the economic abilities and opportunities for the state as a whole?
If we increased enrollment by 20%, the social gains would exceed $5 billion per student cohort. So that's per graduating class. So it's clear how our communities and our state is benefiting. And this just shows you again, relative to a high school graduate, it's pretty staggering to see where a bachelor's degree educated person falls compared to someone who went to college but did not complete, or even an associate's degree or certification.
And why is that important? We know the demographics of Arizona are shifting. We see an increasing population, a Latino population. We already know it's a minority majority in our K through 12 system, especially in the earlier grades. So the opportunities are astounding for what we can do if we can get more kids to go to college, especially kids that haven't typically been going to college at the same rate.
I mean, I'd go so far as to say attainment is the magic bullet for Arizona to be successful in the future. It is still today the only proven method, without exception, that we know that brings everybody up: education.
What if we could all, across our sectors, public, private, big, little, could come together, meet regularly and listen to each other? And what if from those conversations we could not just understand, but look at intentionally what we have in common? And if we could find what we have in common, could we leverage our collective resources, abilities, initiatives, time, energy to forge a unified mission?
But it takes our business leaders to come alongside, to champion and say, these investments are important. It's not only the right thing to do for our students in the future of our of rural and Arizona, but it makes business sense. I mean, when you break it down to business owners and business leaders, it really does make business sense. This Billions to Gain report really does validate. I agree that we have this in our hands to be able to go share with others.
Education has the power to change people's lives. And this gives us a really tangible way to see that in dollars and cents, right? But so much more of this work is about the impact that this has on families and on students. And it's not just the current students, it's their generations to come, right?
This is the best place to come for information for decision making. If students are going to go to college, they have to be well prepared through K through 12.
There is already data that suggests that our state has reached its economical growth limits if we cannot expand attainment. There are thousands of jobs that go unfulfilled every single year in this state because we do not have the employees to take those jobs. You know, we can create a job, but unless somebody takes it and fulfills that job, there's no economic gain from just creating an empty job. We need to address this, and we need to address it now. It is one of the top risks our state faces over the next decades.
We see college enrollment and completion rates that are racially and socioeconomically stratified. So what if I told you that there are 20 HSIs in the state of Arizona who are coming together just as fiercely as I'm communicating to you all today?
We're committed to this sustained outreach effort and to help policymakers and business leaders and folks from across the state really be able to talk about college access and success in post-secondary attainment and why it's so valuable. We look forward to continuing to talk to each and every one of you, and we hope that you'll invite us into your communities to share this information about how much there is to gain, and in fact, everything to gain.
And one last point. There's been a lot of conversation questioning college and almost creating a narrative that disincents students to think that they should be striving to post-secondary education. And you hear it all the time. College isn't for every kid. And you always wonder, well, who gets to decide which of those kids college is for. But more importantly, when they say college isn't worth it, we now have an answer. We now have an answer. And we should never let that narrative go unchecked again. We have the answer that says, you know what, college is worth it. And here's the data that tells you why. We can argue about a lot of other things, but let's not argue about the data and the facts. College is worth it for every student in Arizona. It's our job as a community to make it viable and to make it happen for all of them.